Ahead tonight, police are looking for a motive in the country's latest shooting that left 3 people injured.
Parliamentarians get down to the business on the mid-year budget.
And the Women's Basketball Association starts searching for a champion. The Bahamas Tonight starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This segment of the news is brought to you by BTC, powered by Lime.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kendino Knowles.
I'm Kishla Adderley. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Well, against the backdrop of a weaker economy, the government is pushing forward with its midterm budget.
And as Carla Palmer tells us, despite old debt, the government has some ambitious plans to stabilize the economy.
Reiterating the financial challenges the country is experiencing as a result of global economic conditions, Minister of State for Finance Michael Alcides said since coming to office, the PLP administration inherited a series of debt overruns by the former administration in a number of areas, and the government had to fulfill those commitments. Nevertheless, the Minister of State for Finance said the government is committed and will implement its ambitious programs to ensure the Bahamas regains its economic footing.
The broad thrust of our growth strategy, Mr. Speaker, includes diversifying the key tourism and financial services industries. In addition, we attach a high priority to identifying, promoting, and supporting new foreign direct investment projects, particularly in Grand Bahama and the Family Islands. The government is developing a new policy framework that will enhance the creation and expansion of small and medium-sized enterprises and the employment opportunities that they generate. The consultation process is now well underway for the creation of a small and medium-sized enterprises development agency.
Other programs to be implemented which focuses on stimulating and growing the economy include an overall tax reform system, including the establishment of a value-added tax by July next year.
Such a VAT rate, in combination with the other reform proposals, would ensure that the government will have access to adequate revenue streams for the future. For competitiveness reasons, it is also proposed to eliminate the hotel occupancy tax and to subject hotel accommodations to VAT rather than subject them to both taxes. This will allow hotels to claim VAT input credits on their purchases of materials and supplies and will be consistent with the current Hotels Encouragement Act. Mr. Speaker, for competitiveness reasons, it is also proposed to eliminate the hotel occupancy tax and to subject hotel accommodations to VAT rather than subject them to both taxes. This will allow hotels to claim VAT input credits on their purchases of materials and supplies and will be consistent with the current Hotels Encouragement Act. Given the high rates of excise tax imposed on a number of excisable items, Mr. Speaker, it is proposed that all excise tax rates be reduced by an amount just sufficient to counteract the imposition of a 15% VAT on those products.
Member of Parliament for Tall Pines, Mr. Leslie Miller, seconded the mid-year budget statement. He anticipates the programs to be implemented will alleviate some of the burdens, he says, the Bahamian people are currently experiencing. I'm Carla Palmer for ZNS Network News.
Police in the capital are investigating a triple shooting in the Mount Pleasant Avenue area that's off Kemp Road. Initially, it was reported that 2 men were shot, but police press liaison officer Inspector Chrislyn Skippings says a 3rd man later showed up with gunshot injuries and admitted himself to hospital. Now, Inspector Skippings couldn't provide any further information on the condition of the men, but she had these details.
The shooting would have taken place shortly after 8 p.m. Off Camp Road area. It is reported that a group of males were actually sitting outside a business establishment when gunshots were heard, which resulted in the persons being shot.
Now, according to Inspector Skippings, police don't know the motive behind this shooting and they're appealing for public assistance.
We want to make a general plea to members of the public because anytime something happens, someone sees something, someone knows something, we're asking you to please come forward, assist your police department like you've done in times before. Give us a call or even call our Crime Stoppers number, 328-TIPS. I just want to encourage people that when you reach to a roadblock and you realize that this is a situation that you've never been in before, it's difficult. Don't resort to violence. Find someone who can assist you. The problems that you're going through now, someone has already gone through it before and they were successful in dealing with it.
A pathologist has ruled that 35-year-old Jermaine Smith, the man who died in police custody back on February 8th, died from a lack of oxygen. Smith was arrested along with 2 other Nassau Village men on suspicion of armed robbery. And although Smith's cause of death has been listed as asphyxia, the Smith family has gone on record saying that Jermaine hadn't suffered any previous medical problems. A coroner's inquest has been set for later this month, but no word on if things will proceed as planned. Minister of National Security Dr. Bernard Nottage spoke with members of the media today and assured that justice will prevail.
Well, there's no excuse for someone dying in police custody unless they die of natural causes. That is the position of the Bahamas government. That is the position of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. If anyone dies in custody as a result of malfeasance by any agent of the Crown, that has to be dealt with. But before you can deal with it, there needs to be a proper investigation. Our system provides for a coroner to do an inquest and for a result to be declared. Once that is declared, then action will have to be taken based on what the investigation reveals. If we are not satisfied with that investigation, then we would have to have some other form of independent investigation with which people are satisfied. There's nothing to hide, and we have a responsibility to the public to ensure that when they are in police custody, that they are well taken care of.
Prosecutors opened their case today against 18-year-old accused murderer Cleophas Clark. He's seen here wearing the red shirt. The teen is accused of killing 45-year-old Chinese national Wing Hong Chan last January. Prosecutors say Chan was celebrating the Chinese New Year with a small group of friends at an apartment complex on Village Road, adjacent to the former offices of the Chinese embassy. It's reported that he stepped outside to smoke a cigarette after playing an indoor game before being found lying outside unresponsive. He had apparently been shot. His cell phone was also missing. Jurors are expected to hear evidence from the first witness in the case tomorrow morning. Justice Bernard Turner is presiding. A judge has sentenced 47-year-old Adrian Robertson, wearing the green shirt, to 21 years in prison for the manslaughter of 60-year-old taxi driver and Long Island resident Veronica Knowles 3 years ago. Court evidence alleges that Robertson and the victim were in a relationship. Knowles was found in bushes near Salt Pond, dressed in a leopard print nightgown with injuries to the back of the head. In court, Robertson, who had begged the court for leniency, appeared stunned when the stiff sentence was handed down. However, presiding Justice Bernard Turner noted that the 47-year-old has a previous criminal history and, despite being released from prison in 2007 after spending 10 years for armed robbery, continued to offend, with his crimes becoming more and more serious. Justice Turner said the sentence must be one of deterrence, noting that society must be protected from Robertson. He then sentenced him to 21 years behind bars. He also ordered that some $1,300 that had been taken from Robertson's apartment by police be returned to him and placed on his prison account pending appeal.
In our first look at weather, another chilly night shaping up, but outside of our studios, we have just a few clouds, temperature at 66 degrees, relative humidity 56%. Your winds out of the north at 8 knots, barometric pressure 1,017.9 millibars, that's 30.11 inches, and it is steady. But stay tuned, temperatures around the Falmouth Islands, travel and boating forecast is still to come.
Well, still to come, the police force band is on the move. Coming up, we'll tell you why.
And how to keep on a straight financial path in this economy? Find out coming up. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news is brought to you by Lux Men's Warehouse.